Welcome to MI Magazine presents Soul, a weekly entertainment show on fashion, arts and culture, relationships, mental health, and food. Our weekly guest hosts are Christie Grays Chambers, Carla Hill, Dr. Delvena Thomas, and Chef Irie. Now introducing our host, Miss Nicky Gelin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to MIA Magazine presents So I'm your host, Nicky G, and I want to say that, today is the eve of Christmas Eve. So a Merry Christmas Eve to all of y'all. And I'm such a last minute shopper, so I'll be finishing my shopping tomorrow on actual Christmas Eve. So if you're the same way, drop a comment. I tend to kind of focus better. I get to knock things out the way. So again, just drop a comment. Now I want to segue into another trending topic. Y'all heard of Clubhouse? So apparently Clubhouse it's like a new meeting space, but it's mainly audio based. And it's a safe space where people join to have conversations or they listen to conversations. And the thing is, it kind of replaces having to post online conversations. So in Clubhouse, it's all audio based and it's supposed to be safe and it's not recorded. Now, the thing is, people are actually recording these conversations and they're reposting these conversations online. So the question is this: what happens in the Clubhouse? Should it stay in the Clubhouse? What do you think? And I do want to say that I am now a legit Clubhouser. So I was able to actually join last week. So, hey. So you may be trying to figure out what to do during this pandemic. Mainly everything is outdoors. But Miami land, they have some really great ideas for outdoor activities. There's kayaking, sailing, hiking. And you know what? Let's just show you what I'm talking about. Isn't that so dope, y'all? Camping at nighttime? What? So visit grp.com for more information. So we have a really special edition tonight. Myself and my co-host will be talking holiday traditions. So Christy, Dr. Delvena, Carla, Chef Irie, how is everybody doing this Christmas Eve?
Hi, doing great.
Hello. How are we?
Yeah, so we're having a roundtable discussion on our holiday traditions, family, food, what to wear, what to eat. So who wants to kick it off first?
Well, first, I would like to say that I'm not buying no gifts. I heard you mention you have to go shopping. I stopped buying Christmas gifts I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. For family and friends, I think Christmas, you shouldn't have to spend money at the end of the year to buy something that someone tells you that they want. So my tradition has been other types of ways to show love and, holiday cheer. So don't stress it, Nikki. Don't stress buying a whole list of gifts for folks.
No, that's true. So so do you give back by maybe feeding the homeless or what else do you do in place of buying gifts for the past 10 years?
My concept is I give all year long. I give to several charities all year. I help people out who request help with certain things. I give of my time often, without any retribution. So that's my way of giving back. I think I don't like Christmas to feel stressful to me. Growing up, so many of my friends, well, I shouldn't say growing up, but as an adult, a younger adult, so many of my friends would stress over trying to fulfill Christmas lists because of financial obligations and financial limitations. And I used to tell them it doesn't make sense that you're basically placing yourself in the poorhouse to buy your kids and, cousins and nieces and nephews all these gifts And it really doesn't mean anything. This is something you can get them throughout the year. You don't have to wait until the end of the year to do that. And financial advisors will talk about that, how not to overspend during the holidays. So
I hear you.
You know what, Nikki? My family does something similar to Dr. Delvena. So I'm so cool with the gift giving thing. The thing is there aren't a lot of kids in my family. So about 6-7 years ago, my family, we would pull a name at Thanksgiving. And at Thanksgiving, we would say what we wanted. Right? But so I have older siblings. And so my sisters and I, we'd say, oh, I don't know what I want. I don't know. Just get me a gift card. Right. I mean, how boring, right? So about 6 or 7 years ago, I was like, hey, let's just take the money we would have spent on a gift card and give it to a charity. So we have been donating to causes that are near and dear to our family, like sickle cell, breast cancer research, and like a children's hospital in Atlanta. So that's what we do. But now that I'm married, my husband has gifted me, but I'm not good with gifts.
She just dresses people nicely.
Well, go ahead, Chef Irie, go ahead.
Well, geez, I don't know about, buying a whole lot of gifts, especially now. And, most of my family is away. I really haven't seen my family, since last year, so yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of like almost alone. I got a niece that, and that lives close, and I haven't seen her either. But I think for me, I've gotten, I've been so many places where, a lot of, I'd adopted families, but being a chef, most people always assume that I'm working. 9 times out of 10, that is true. I'm always cooking for other people, cooking for other families, making that kind of joy spread, near and dear. This year, I might be doing, a little bit of that. Hopefully I find some time to go pick up a few gifts. But of course, one of the things that I started doing a few years ago was, making, sorrel. I don't know if you guys,
sorrel.
So what I do, I just make a big pot of sorrel, make it nice, bottle it up, and I try to give out a bottle of sorrel, for people who are, close to me, and that's one of my Christmas gifts, because I think a gift, from the store is one thing, but a gift, made with love, it is something that you just can't put a price on. So that's my philosophy.
Well, so I have a question. So the theme is holiday traditions and it's family focused. So how did you adjust to your family not being here and the whole Christmas mood and people with their friends and family? Did it take time for you over the years to kind of just get used to it, or how was it in the beginning, and how did you adjust over time?
I mean, I'm assuming that question is directed for me, right?
Yeah, you said you don't really have family down here, and
I mean, over the years, I've periodically at some point, taken a trip, up north to see them. But for the most part, whether I've been in a relationship or not, usually those people become my family.
Right.
So Christmas holidays, you're at someone's house, what have you, and it's usually, the person that was seeing it would usually be their family. And if I wasn't, doing that, it'd be at friend's house or something like that. So there are times when, it does get a little emotional, because, and it's part of one of the reasons why I don't watch Christmas movies anymore. A lot of them tend to be a little sappy, but when I was younger, yeah, I used to watch a lot of that stuff. But I think for me, just enjoying the vibe, and friends and family, whether through right now this year, phone call, videos, what have you. If I'm able to stop and see a friend, that's cool. Have some drinks. But the gift giving part, when I was a kid, I grew up with I have other older siblings, but at the time it was just my mom, my dad, and myself. So for me, my gift giving was a gift from my mom and a gift from my dad.
Uh,
It was very simple. Maybe my mom or my dad would probably buy me something to give my grandmother or something like that. But the gift giving for me, even if I never give my dad something, I always wanted to make sure that I give my mom something.
uh,
As a kid, it's always, sort of dialed in what I was gonna give her. Boy, I was gonna give her a new powder set.
so sweet.
So
No, but
my dad would get a new tie, some cologne, this, that, and the other. But coming here to the States, it sort of teaches you and taught me a lot of different things. And I have to say, and I don't know if anybody who has left one place to, especially leaving one country, but
Mhm.
for me, Christmas has never been the same since I left Jamaica. It hasn't had the same type of meaning to me. Um, the meaning of family, the meaning of of being together. Here, you start to understand that it was the meaning of commerce.
Right.
Spend, 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 spend. Like you said, get yourself in debt, debt, debt,
Yeah.
debt. And
So, Chef
you know,
Irene,
huh?
what was Thanksgiving like in Jamaica in comparison to the U.S.?
So there's no Thanksgiving in Jamaica. So
Say that.
I'm
Thanksgiving is
sorry,
gonna
I meant
happen. Yeah.
Christmas. I'm
Christmas.
sorry, and I'm drinking water.
No Thanksgiving in Jamaica.
So
Christmas,
Christmas,
sorry.
yeah, and I'm sure it's probably similar throughout the islands. But as we're getting closer to Christmas, one of the things for me, I'm anticipating Christmas dinner, Christmas Day, families coming over. Christmas Eve, we having sessions, we having parties, we having fetes, we having limes. We have just beer drinking, liquor drinking. People anticipating food. You might have curry goat on the pot, somewhere. But people in the on Friday, you mean Friday, Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. Christmas morning is usually a huge tradition to go to the market Christmas morning, like early in the morning, picking up, the things that you may not have had the chance to pick up during the week, so you can complete or finish that Christmas dinner. And also, it's also a time to buy some gifts if you weren't able to do, because Christmas morning,
Get everything away.
stores
Yes.
are
So,
closed, but
so
you can go
I
to
know.
the outdoor market.
So Chef Irie, so of course, obviously, you're up in Jamaica, and so Carla, as far as you now and your family traditions, like how does that go down in your household?
Oh, wow. Well, Trini Christmas, there's a song that says Trini Christmas is the best. Sorry, Jamaica. But there's, Christmas really starts in Trinidad from October. There are, they start playing Christmas music in October, and there's music that we traditionally listen to during Christmas called parang, spelled P like Paul, ARA, N as in Nancy, G. And it is, we have a history of Spanish. We're only, 90 miles or less from Venezuela. So parang music starts in October, and then they go all the way to Boxing Day, which is December 26th. But before that, everyone is buying new curtains and cleaning their house and putting up the trees. Like it's such a, my gosh, it's just levels of events that happen. And in the old days, people would actually come and parang your house. So you would have men and women come to your house singing in Spanish with their cuatro, their guitar, and you give them money or you invite them in to have some food. So that's the tradition of parang. Now, people don't do that, but there are parang competitions, and of course, the regular the regular Christmas carols and the jokey, funny songs that we make into soca. And it is just a beautiful time in Trinidad. Lots of food, all your childhood favorites. Pastel, maybe Chef Irie knows what that is. Pastel is like a cornmeal folded into like a banana leaf. And almost every country has their own version of that. We call it pastel, and it can be sweet with coconut. It can have meat in it. So people look forward to pastel, pancha cream. In Haiti, they would call it cremas.
Crema.
Yes, every island, every place has their own version of that. And this is the time of year that people are buying bottles of it. There's usually somebody's auntie, some good friend that makes the best. And that's who you go to get your punch cream. Then there's somebody else that does the pastel. And then there's somebody else that bakes the sweet bread, which is coconut with a little fruit. So it's all about like comfort food. It is just, I don't know. It's just that I only have good memories of Christmas in Trinidad. And then as soon as Boxing Day comes, then we get ready for our other festival, which is Carnival. Exactly. And it's Carnival through Ash Wednesday. So we use the good Lord's calendar, his birth, his resurrection, as a party calendar. Sorry, Lord, but yes, that's how.
That's how you, Nikki.
For me, for me, as far as my family tradition, so it starts on Christmas Eve. So we go to my parents' house. We all make hot cocoa, and we just watch Christmas movies until midnight. And then midnight, we either go to sleep or we open gifts. That's what it is. And then Christmas morning, we have a big breakfast. And then my stepdad, he goes out, he starts grilling. So I'm at his house first, my parents' house. And then I go to like family members at different houses afterwards. So I'm the kind of person where I have my containers with me. So I have top, so, that's it. Yeah. So mine is, it's pretty, so I'm Jamaican, but I guess I'm Jamaican. So my stepfather, he's from Barbados. So, in Barbados, they have a thing called souse. I don't know if you're familiar with souse, but
we have a version.
Oh my God, I can't. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Souse, like chicken souse and pork souse and souse. That souse.
Yeah, I think They have like raw onions. It's pork, so he eats the pork one, but it's raw onions and raw peppers, and it's I don't know. But
the Barbados dish. That's from Barbados.
It's Bajan, yeah. That's far as Chef Irie, right? Or
Southern version too. I'm not sure what is in it, but I've definitely heard of it. It wasn't really made in my household. I don't know.
South in the South in the islands, not all the islands it's not common in Jamaica per se, but I know in Bahamas, their South is different than say the one you're describing. As the one, in other islands, as South would be different in the United States for Black Americans. But it came from one place, that much I know. And where,
So I have a question. Okay, I grew up in Mississippi, and so we got a real tree. Like my dad would go cut a tree and bring it in. Did you all have real trees?
I had a fake tree growing up, but as an adult, I do the real tree. I don't go cut it down myself. I go to the corner of the street, and the guy selling the trees, I buy it from him. But yeah, we had fake trees growing up. And my parents are from Mississippi, so I don't know. I guess they didn't get the memo.
Yeah. A tree, Dr. Delvena? Would you want to cut one down for the experience?
No.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin with cutting down the tree. I mean, I have family that lives in Ohio, and my in-laws, and I go to them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a Claritin commercial. There's like chipmunks. So I don't know what to do with that. All I know is palm trees.
Well, I grew up the very early part of my youth, maybe there was some fake tree, but after getting a little older, there was a tradition that my dad, it was just between me and my dad, and we would go out to the highway. So in Jamaica, where I live, on the highway in the median,
Mm.
the government they planted, the pine trees, for beautification and all that good stuff. And Christmas Eve or there or thereabouts, he and I would go and he would cut off a tree, cut off the top of the tree. We felt like robbers, and we'd bring it back. And to this day, that's probably been one of my favorite Christmas trees. So bring it back, and we'll put it in. It's a 5 gallon metal container, look, kind of rectangulish, and we would wrap that thing with tin foil and some other things, and we'd put the tree in, and we put stones in, and then wrap, put stuff on the tree, whatever it was, whatever lights and whatever stuff, and that was the Christmas tree. And for me, to this day, that has been the best Christmas tree ever. Because what we went to do it, and so those are a few of the memories for me from as a dad. So now I don't in general, I don't like fake plants, just in general. So I have a real Christmas tree, a little one. Yes, it's a 2 foot Christmas tree, and I'm so proud of my Christmas tree. I'm like, yay, Whole Foods, $20. Yes.
You want to show it to us?
Sure.
Yeah.
While he shows us, so I
see it.
Yeah, you gotta grab it. Or no, you're gonna turn your phone or your.
Yeah. I can smell it now, Chef. Real trees smell like Christmas. They smell so
It's
good.
true. When I was going to the grocery store and they were all lined up, it's such a comforting. Oh my gosh!
Oh, it's so cute.
Yes.
Good job.
I bet it smells like Christmas.
So that's my Christmas tree.
Gosh.
Oh, that's cute. I'm sure it smells like Christmas too. So
Yes,
I can't buy the real tree is too high maintenance. Like it be shedding and you gotta sweep it up and
It's
Well,
not.
that's why you buy a small one. That's
I
why
do
you
the
buy a small
tree,
one.
but I buy the pine cones, so it smells like it. It's so I get the pine cones and then I put it over the tree. I put it around the tree, but I do the fake one, and it's recyclable. I'm going green.
Well, the real tree is recyclable as well. So you can throw it out to the beach. Yeah, you can bring it down to the beach and they use it as to form berms in the beach. For that whole recycling process. So yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So in my pizza on Christmas Eve, homemade pizzas at my aunt's house. And then Christmas Day, we ate everything: macaroni and cheese, usually turnip greens, candied sweet potatoes. Sometimes my mom would make homemade rolls, dressing and turkey, sweet tea, and then like a peach cobbler.
Ooh.
That's
Southern. That's that Southern Christmas dinner.
That's Southern, yes. And that's what we're doing. I'm gonna cook those things minus the turkey this year.
But I was talking earlier, and I mentioned the market, and I didn't want to just really gloss over but the tradition, and I'm sure they probably still do it now, but it wasn't just that you go to the market. It was called like you went to Grand Market, in Christmas morning, and Grand Market was a big thing. And I, listening to my mother talking about it, you when I got older, I realized, wow, this is so not the same as when it was, for you. But Grand Market Christmas morning is a very big thing in Jamaica, and I think in some of the other islands as well. But the biggest part of Christmas for me was always Christmas dinner, because that's one of the times when I would see most of my family. So my aunt, well, not my aunt, my uncles, my cousins, and I grew up on a sugar estate. Sugar cane. My dad worked for the sugar estate. So even after dinner was done, my mom would have stuff that she'd probably make extra. So some of the workers who were on the estate who haven't gone home, they would still come, and there was always enough food. Um,
Mhm.
so people always getting fed, and they come in. She used to sell stuff, so there would be there was enough drinking, and they would be hanging out till about midnight. And those are my friends because it was it's only the three of us, so
Yeah.
those people became my friends. And
And
so, yeah, just to see them and listen to big people's story and adults, and I'm the kid, and they wouldn't tell me to go, and I'm just sitting there, just hanging out, listening. Who's cheating on who's doing this? So,
And I wanted to say the memories. I mean, I was born. I'm an American citizen. I was born in the States, but there was just something special about going to see my grandparents in Trinidad. They
Mhm.
used to have something called a waving gallery, and people would stand on this like platform. You would, as you entered Trinidad and you're going to get your immigration process, like people are like, "Hi, oh my God, hello!" It was such a big deal, and there would be people who weren't your relatives that were waving at you, because it was just such a, I don't know, and people miss that waving gallery. The airport has certainly become modern and it's beautiful, but if they
Yeah.
could bring one thing back, it would be that waving gallery. People loved it, and it was like the first
Sorry.
view you had of your family. So I remember that distinctly. And suitcases without wheels. Anybody remember that?
Oh,
That.
gosh.
And
Mm.
you had to haul all the
To lift
gifts.
it up, carry it. Oof.
Oh my gosh.
So
A
lastly,
grip. We call that a grip.
really quick, do you guys play like any games? Like I know in my household we play like dominoes, spades, Uno. So do you guys play any family games?
Yeah, we used to play the same Uno, Monopoly, Clue.
Monopoly.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
state.
dominoes, and of course, Caribbean dominoes is so not the same passion that you have it here. I don't care what anybody says, but yo, no. 'Cause when you lose in a game of domino in Jamaica, you will feel it.
And they're not shy to let people know that you lost. Like the tables
Exactly.
are banging and the voices are raised. It used to frighten me as a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they
that's
slam
game.
it down. They slam it down. Woo.
Yeah, take that
Yeah.
6 long.
Yeah. Well, so everybody, well, this was great. Yeah. So again, it's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. So, happy holidays. Any last words from anybody?
Just Merry Christmas, and to folks who may not be with their families because of COVID-19,
Mhm.
utilize virtual, utilize your phone. You're not alone. Call someone, call one of your friends, your family members. Don't allow yourself to feel isolated.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Definitely.
Yeah, just
Okay.
for me, just have food and fire, Christmas this year, regardless of whatever the circumstance is.
Yeah.
And if there's someone that you can reach out to
Mhm.
outside of family or even the family, do so, because someone right now is probably wanting someone to reach out to them. And this is we all know what happens a lot during this time of year, for a lot of people. So if there's someone that comes on your mind just reach out to them, this holiday season.
That's
Definitely.
very true. Very true. Reach out to those that you think don't need reaching out to. They're usually the ones that do. And in 2021, we want a quiet end to 2020. And in 2021, I look forward to supporting the arts and culture in person again.
Yes.
Um, a lot
Yes.
of my friends are out of work, or they've got big shows, and then all of those shows closed down. So I'm looking forward to concerts and plays and dance shows and just being with people in person again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would say I'm Christian, so I'm gonna say remember the reason for the season. I don't know if baby Jesus was born on December 25th, but that's the day that we recognize his birth. So remember the reason for the season and stay chic, of course.
Well, all right. So, ladies and gents, this was a really great special edition. For those of you watching, we're off air next week. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and see you in 2021.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy.
Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, everything.
Everything. Happy and merry.
Season's greetings.